what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in to the 404 show on this Friday, May 22nd, 2015. I'm very happy to be here today because we're welcoming for the first time ever in the history of the show, Mr. Zack Whittaker.
Good morning,
How are you,
good
sir?
afternoon. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Everyone, I'm fantastic, thank you. Everyone's going to fall in love with your voice
Don't
because
say
you
that.
have...
No, come on, that's just going to raise
they will.
expectations.
Charming. It's on a level of charm that
Don't
is...
forget to whisper it sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you start talking,
Yeah.
so they can hear it in their ears later on.
okay. Shall I do one now?
I think you should.
Good afternoon.
Oh, it's so good.
Really?
Oh, I'm like...
You know,
My
people say
pants
to
are
me on
tight.
an almost daily basis. I've been in New York for, 2 years now? More than 2 years. People say to me almost every day, "Oh, I love your accent," and it's like, well, I never get tired of it.
Of course, because it's a constant
it's very
compliment.
flattering. Yeah.
Americans have a fascination with the British accent, and I don't know what more so than any other
don't know
regional
why.
dialect.
It sounds more intelligent. It's like
Well-
it's like the reverse Southern accent.
And I believe if you slow down
Yeah.
a British accent, it sounds Southern, is what
I-
someone told me once.
You
Do
think so?
quite like the Southern accent though. I've been
I
to
do quite.
Georgia.
Do you?
I do. I enjoy it. Yeah.
That disturbs me a great deal.
Well, it's very it's what we consider to be American, I suppose.
Yeah, that's strange.
Wait,
So
you guys
it's-
think Southern?
Well,
Yeah, but think about it. I would think other countries that are less familiar with America would assume we all speak like cowboys.
Yes,
Like I would think everyone in
Yeehaw!
North Korea thinks
you assume correctly.
we're all John Wayne and Clint Eastwood here.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Today's an interesting day in the office. Zach is here joining us. That's making it very
Interesting. Point
interesting.
one. Thank you.
You are a writer for ZDNet and CNET.
Yes.
You cover a wide gamut of topics.
Mostly nowadays, security, cybersecurity, law, politics. I've fallen asleep. Yeah, it's.
So do you find this boring?
No, I find it very interesting, but not many people find it, but especially with the law and the politics. And the last few weeks has been nothing but Patriot Act this and Patriot Act that and NSA this, and it gets very tiring. I enjoy it considerably. I love it.
That's great. All right, as long as you enjoy it.
It's too bad your
enjoy it.
accent doesn't like translate to the actual writing because
Oh,
like
does
the
it
stuff
not?
you write is great, but then it's like,
See, I
Very
read
dry.
all his stuff in an accent.
that's what needs to be done. Maybe
it should say at the top of your post. Read this in a British accent.
Yeah,
Read
you
this in a really charming British accent.
Doesn't
Yeah.
the same apply with Morgan Freeman? You can say anything,
Yeah.
and it's like you see his face.
It's
and
always
then
profound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It means it's
him explaining space is one of the great things your ears can enjoy. I wanted to also talk about real quick. So we have a silent guest in our studio today. Little 4.5-year-old Aldrin Akhtar is here.
Yeah, he's sitting in the red chair in the back. If you haven't seen the studio, we've got a little chair. He's got my iPad. He's got a barred pair of 24-karat monster headphones on.
Oh,
He
those
doesn't
the
even
real
know you're
gold one?
talking. He
I don't
can't
know.
even tell.
I
He's-
just borrowed them from Justin's desk after I asked if I could borrow some
Yeah,
headphones.
there's a 5-year-old here just chilling
He's
out,
in his
watching
own
his
little
iPad.
world. He's very happy.
It's amazing.
Those freaking headphones are like perfect. They block out everything. 'Cause
It's
he's
like that scene in Old School. You could say anything.
He's like, Dad, Optimus Prime is here. So I pulled the headphone away from his ear. And he's like,
Oh,
okay.
they don't learn that. Most people don't ever learn that.
I got to teach him that a little bit. But yeah, so he's in and like it's the day before a long weekend. So there's a lot of kids running around the office.
Yeah.
And there was no memo about this. It's
There was
just
no
like,
memo. I thought
And there's a
CNET
dozen
had
kids
started
here.
hiring people very, very young.
No, I just brought him in. 'Cause
I started at CNET when I was 19. That was
Did
what,
you
7?
really?
Actually, as it turns out, later this month, I think May 30th. So in about a week will be 7 years for me, and I'm 26
Congrats.
now.
Wow.
Thank you very much. I know.
Congratulations.
I can't think of anything else I've done, longer than 7 years.
You've had an
except
accent
live.
for over 7 years.
I've had an accent.
Yeah.
I've been vegetarian for longer than 7 years. I've been alive.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking?
And now, well, smoking's been 7. Well, yeah, I smoked for many, many years. As you know, it's been about 210, 11 days.
So
Something like
this
that.
is something I always wanted
Since
to
I
ask
gave up.
you, and I want to know if there's a correlation.
Shoot,
So Zach has Tourette syndrome,
correct.
and you smoked, and
Yes.
and you stopped smoking
I
cigarettes.
did.
And I wanted to ask you, and we never got, because I'm always very interested in your
Yeah,
in your
and
situation.
I find it very flattering that you pay so much, interest.
Well, no,
Not
I
many
think
people do.
it helps create a certain sort of awareness. People have this
does.
very stigmatized perception of Tourette's.
Yeah.
And I want to, and I always ask you questions because I know you take medicine for it. I know
Yeah.
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Did the smoking ever affect that? Did
it
you ever?
actually made it not to make anything, but it made life easier for me.
It did.
The strangest thing is that for the symptoms are known as tics.
Right.
You have vocal tics, you have the physical tics where you lash out, you hit yourself, or flail your arms or something.
Sure.
I've got the whole range, the whole spectrum. Of
You're an equal
symptoms.
opportunity tick person.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I used to smoke to calm myself down, to feel like I was calm.
Really?
I used to regulate my breathing, which is one of the things that you very rarely have in this condition, is the ability to just shut yourself, shut the world out for a few moments.
Right.
And you just enjoy a cigarette and you regulate your breathing, you calm down, you get into your own little space for 2 or 3 minutes, and then you go back to the real world again. And it just gave me a few moments of relief.
Right.
In between shouting, swearing, and I do have that symptom. I do have the swearing tic. I have had that for years. I actually have the quintessential condition, as it were. But it's almost not noticeable because of the medicine that I'm on.
It really is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the medicine that I'm on it takes away maybe 95% of my condition.
So how does it work? Like, what does it do? It does
By
something to your
sheer
brain?
It's magic. It's just
it contains microscopic wizards, and they enter your bloodstream.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you how it works. It's I don't shy away from this topic. I actually wrote a piece some weeks ago. The medicine that I take is the most commonly taken drug in America, Abilify, and I take a very small dose of it.
Yeah.
But they generate billions in revenue from this drug.
Yeah.
And it's designed for people with, some mental health issues, illnesses. But for me, it just takes the edge off. Don't know how, don't know why, it just does.
That's great.
Yeah. So it works for me, and I hope it works for others.
Excellent. All right. We have a lot to cover today, not just Zach's Tourette's. Which we could.
I suppose we could.
a solid hour.
We could spend a great deal of time on it. But I want to talk about a few things that's going on. First off, I have to tease this real quick for myself. It's selfish. It's in nature.
Okay.
But as we all know, the Giant Bomb people now share the office with us, and they started doing
Where do they sit?
So there's only 2 guys here from Giant Bomb.
Okay.
Is Aldrin okay?
Yeah, he just had a little cough.
Just a little coughing? Okay, fair enough. You good, buddy? He's not looking at me.
Got a thumbs up there.
A thumbs up? Excellent. That's all I need in life. So it's just Vinny and Alex, and they're across the cafeteria there.
I should go and say hello.
Yeah, you should say hi. You should introduce yourself.
Yeah, let's go.
It's a neighborly thing to do.
This thing. Yeah.
And they started a brand new podcast on the East Coast called the Giant Beast Cast.
Well, congratulations to them.
So I got to appear on the first episode.
Did that sound sarcastic?
It did a little bit.
Sarcastic.
It did, but that's your nature.
Sorry.
People who don't know you, they should know that everything you say should be taken with a gigantic grain of salt. And yeah, it was great. It was great fun, and I was on their show. Search on iTunes the Giant Beast Cast, and I was on the thing for 2 hours with them. It was a lot of fun. So best of luck to them, and that's all I got to say about that. If you want to hear me get into games like I want to do sometimes on this show, but kind of alienate everyone else in the studio at the same time.
That's my fault, but yeah.
No, it's not anyone's fault, but go listen to that. We talk a great deal about games. Okay, enough of that.
I should probably admit something.
Admit it. You've never played a video game.
No, I have, but I don't. I don't.
Yeah,
tend
that's
to.
not uncommon.
That's not a bad thing, is it? Okay.
No, it's not uncommon. A lot of people don't play games.
Okay.
I would say.
So I feel sorry. I'm apologetic.
You shouldn't be apologetic. I wonder what the numbers are. Like, I wonder how many Americans, or not even, we're going to cross the pond here. How many people in first world countries, the percentage. So what are we? We're like that 25 to 40 demo, right?
Yeah.
What's the percentage of those people who play games?
What's the game definition? Is it like those casual games on phones? You're talking about consoles?
I guess console, because everyone plays Angry Birds.
Handheld ones, or what, DX?
No, talking about console
I would say
or
consoles.
PC games.
The Vita, I think, would be almost a console.
If you're playing Vita, you own a console.
I'm just saying, like, if you spend over like $100 for the hardware, I think that might be the line.
Sure. So what's the percentage? What are we guessing? I'm thinking 60.
I think a lot of people. I would say maybe 60, 65.
Right?
I'll say 30.
You think 30%?
Including it's both male and female.
Male
right?
and female.
I think a lot of people do it and don't necessarily not admit to it, but they don't think of it as something that they should necessarily talk about.
We haven't done a time period. It's like how often they're playing per week. We're talking
No.
Like, have they ever played a game?
If they own a console.
Oh, if they own a console.
And they play twice a month.
Frank Underwood, the fictional president of the United States, plays video games in House of Cards.
Does he really?
He's the president. And
he plays games?
He plays games. He played games, didn't he? I'm sure he did.
I didn't get to that season. Thanks a lot there, Zach.
Oh, come on. I didn't
really
exactly.
A spoiler.
Yeah, it's not the biggest spoiler in the world. It's not like I'm breaking news.
You can go on
here.
Reddit without it knowing that. I was like, oh, he turns into president. Okay. All right, great. How does he do that exactly? I haven't finished I only did season 1. I haven't bothered.
You're only on season 1.
I haven't finished 2 or 3.
I think, what season are they on?
I have no idea. I don't watch House of Cards. It's 3.
It's so heavy. I just can't watch.
So I don't play games and you don't watch House of Cards.
Two very different things.
No, but House of Cards is...
But they require a lot of attention. That's the point.
Come on.
That's one of the reasons why I didn't finish House of Cards.
It's one season of Kevin Spacey being the president. Who cares? Come on.
It's a very
one little
good show.
I'm sure it's great.
It's probably the best show
it's like spending 13
since The West Wing. And the funny thing is that The West Wing is almost exactly like...
There's no way that show is better than Game of Thrones.
When House of Cards shows up as a video game, then you'll be interested in House of Cards the game.
I won't even.
Yes, you will. When Zombie President shows up.
Ugh, enough freaking zombies. Jesus Christ. All right, let's get into a few of the stories we have here in our rundown. We've got good stories this week. This is going to be fun. The headline for this one is Goldfish may have a better attention span than you, the smartphone user.
It doesn't have the word may in it. It says goldfish have a better attention span.
Definitively.
Yeah.
What is the attention span of a zombie?
Of a zombie?
Yeah.
It's got to be pretty good. They just don't let up, right?
They're persistent.
They are very...
They're focused.
Yeah, very focused.
They have one plan in mind, and that's it.
Just brains. That's
so
Yeah.
how is this possible? Because the quintessential awful attention span is that of a goldfish or someone who watches MTV. So how on earth could this possibly be a real thing?
Yeah, there was a study by Microsoft, and it came out in spring 2015, but the results are from back in 2013. They had a bunch of Canadians that they're doing research on. So these might only apply to Canadians, okay?
Okay.
So just deal with that one, first of all.
Historically great attentions.
And polite, very polite. So the thing is, the
They
researchers...
are very nice people.
They clocked the average human attention span at just 8 seconds.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Exactly. 8 seconds. Now, that's 1 second below a goldfish. In 2000, it used to be 12 seconds. We used to be able to do that. And of course, the study is saying that people are more easily distracted in the presence of devices with screens. So basically, our smartphones have made us lower our attention span.
Now, when is the point
I just
where...
picked up my phone. I didn't even think twice
no,
about
that was
I
on
thought you were just
purpose.
doing
No, I didn't. I was looking at... I got an email through. I was looking at that, but I did trail off at the end.
Didn't you see the sign on the door that says "Leave your phones outside"?
He's got his phone. Where's your phone?
Outside.
Oh, is it?
No, it's a joke. I think when did attention span necessarily equate with intelligence? I get it. Having a long attention span is likely a good quality.
Wait a second. I think it has to do with intelligence. If you can actually keep track of what's going on in a lecture in school. Because if you go in 8 seconds, you're like, wait, what did he just say?
But is that what that means? Because someone who has a 8 second attention span isn't watching a film and just mind wandering every 8 seconds. There's got to be some sort of...
is that you've got a phone in your hand. I can spend all day on Reddit. Today I learned. I can just go through it, for hours.
Yeah. You're even diving deep into the new submissions.
I do. No, I really do. But that can captivate me for a good, in serious terms, 20, 25 minutes. That's longer than 8 seconds. So why does that mean any difference from listening to a lecture or talking to you or to anyone else?
So the question is, what environment were these sort of
I think this
metrics
flawed,
pulled
clearly.
from?
I'm not sure exactly the environment, but there's an upside to this whole thing. There's actually a positive about this study. It says that even though our attention spans are lower now with these devices, that because we have these screens, that people who use these digital lifestyle, they called it, are better at simultaneously processing information from different sources. So they can look down and listen to you and put in more information in their head than they used to.
So multitasking.
Yeah.
My girlfriend wouldn't agree with that.
Well, then she's got to argue with Microsoft and Canadians.
No, she has to argue with me. it's too often that I am engrossed in my phone and I need to leave it. I do this a lot. I do this. I'm in a conversation with someone. I'll pick up my phone and I'll scroll through an email. I will forget what the other person said. Yeah, that's
bad. You can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
And you can't.
Maybe this is what they're trying to get at: is that you can't keep a focus without having to check your phone for something, because we are arguably in the most connected age. You know, we've got Facebook and social media,
no doubt
emails,
about it.
text messages.
But I think that's where like the rudeness factor enters, because there's a very big problem with people detaching from reality when engrossed in a conversation. Like the second you start a conversation with someone, you have signed an unofficial contract
to continue
until you either gracefully exit, either party
on
does
mutual
so,
terms,
right? Whether or not it's amicable, sometimes that's fine. That's the nature of conversations. Not always going to end with a handshake and a kiss on the cheek. Okay.
Who are you having conversations with?
You, baby.
Oh.
What I don't understand is like, that for me, that is the biggest sort of issue with being distracted by cell phones.
I agree.
And you're apparently a culprit.
I'm terrible at it. I will admit that I can be on FaceTime with my parents who are in England.
Yeah.
And because I'm using my Mac or my iPad, I will slide my phone underneath the webcam so that I can play it on my phone like this.
That's actually pretty good.
That is good, but it's also a sickness.
It is.
It's a sickness.
So they're talking to me, and they can. And the thing is, it's about keeping it, because my mum can tell when my eyes are sort of like wandering down to my phone. She snaps her fingers and says,
"You just need a second window. That's all you need." Or you could attach. I saw like one of these little how-to videos. If you hook up your phone to your Mac, and then you go to the QuickTime player, you do new movie recording, you can actually see the screen of your phone right in the window. So you could do that.
Don't make this easier for me.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm trying to make... No, of course you're going to make this easier. Why?
I should... I should spend a bit more time actually focused on listening to what people are saying.
Is that the way you commonly interact with your parents?
FaceTime, yeah.
Really?
It's free and it's easy, and I've got to admit, it's better than Skype by a long stretch.
I'm not talking about what's better, Skype or FaceTime, but
I video call, yeah.
Yeah, but that's got to be a generational thing. How old are your parents? Like 40?
My parents are in the... I shouldn't say in case they listen,
Who cares?
They are in their early 50s.
All right, so they're young.
They are young. I bought them an iPad, I think 3 years ago, when I was on my way to your country, and we've been FaceTiming ever since. It's free and it's easy. It's easy for them.
Sure, and they get it and they love it.
Yeah.
That's weird. Like I feel like that's never gonna happen with my parents. They're just...
My folks use FaceTime. Well, my mom does for the boy when he's over.
All right, maybe once Dylan is older and no, why not
just
now?
Right now?
Yeah.
The other things, I have dogs and my mom's allergic to dogs. So like when he's around, she wants to see him without like her eyes closing up. So that's a lot of FaceTime with us too.
I did not hear that correctly. That sounded like your mom was allergic to seeing dogs.
To actual dogs.
Yeah, but like, why would FaceTime come into play for that?
That's why she uses FaceTime to see the boy when he's over with me.
Oh, because she won't go there.
If she comes to my apartment, she basically will be messed up for like a day or two.
Oof. Man, that sucks.
Sorry, Mom.
Oh, that's a bummer.
The dogs only have like 5 or 6 years left, so...
I guess so. Congrats. I guess that's a good way of thinking about it.
Just survive,
Don't
Mom.
worry, Mom. Come over soon. The dogs will be dead in half a decade.
Hey, I got to spin it positively somehow, right?
That's a truly sick way to look at it.
My mom's got a good sense of humor. That's okay.
All right, fair enough.
So I had to learn this somewhere,
Right, I get it.
Could you imagine that somebody taught me to be this way?
I don't want to think about that. So there you have it.
Zach's giving me the
gold.
No, I'm just silently judging. That's
good. That's good.
That's the best way to judge.
Vocals better, I think.
Yeah. So there you have it. Goldfish are essentially smarter than
They're our superiors.
They are.
All hail goldfish.
Yeah, soon to be our
overlords.
Aquatic overlords. All right. Here is a fantastic idea. It's a Kickstarter for a phone that is actually a phone.
So have you seen? It's a Kickstarter, right? It's this little credit card size phone. I saw this a couple of days ago, and all it is this tiny. It looks like those little chiclet remotes you used to get. You know what I'm talking about?
Like that old school watch battery credit card size remote that would like control. I don't know what. It'll control like LED color lights.
Yeah, there's little chintzy things. It's sort of that size. It doesn't have those little bubbles for the buttons.
Right, little bubble keys.
It's only a phone. It doesn't do texts. It doesn't do apps. It doesn't do anything other than receive and make calls, and I think it has a speed dial for 10 different numbers.
Right, so it's for drug dealers.
But the idea is...
if I'm a drug dealer, I'm buying this phone.
If you pledge $100, you can forward your phone number or your phone calls over to it. And the idea is so you can disconnect. Because it's called the light phone. Because, we're so connected. So you leave your phone at home, you install an app, it'll forward everything over to this phone that can fit in your wallet. They always show people putting it in their wallet.
But it only applies to phone calls.
Yeah,
only
this
phone
is
calls.
brilliant. This is what I want to take on vacation with me.
You really... Why, couldn't you just take your phone and just not look at the other stuff?
No, that's not how that works. We just covered how impossible it is to
you just
detach.
gotta turn up notifications. It's not
Man,
that hard.
do you know how cool my phone is?
I do know how cool.
What phone do you have?
The G3,
I'm just
right?
saying everyone's phone is cool now,
Oh.
right? So there's a lot of cool stuff on there, and it's distracting. And when I'm on vacation, I want to be enjoying the beach or wherever the hell I'm looking at.
Okay, this is...
Can't do that.
I was expecting you to completely hate this thing. It's $100.
No, it's cool. I
for
think
basically a second phone.
That's a phone.
That's a phone.
This is great. I think it's smart. I know.
This is mind-boggling.
Do not adjust your radio.
I don't think I've ever heard him say anything nice about anything. No.
Well, guess what?
It happened. Fatherhood has changed you, man.
Not so sure about that. But guess what?
I want the old Jeff back.
Guess
Is
what?
that possible? Can we?
I'm sure it'll come back during the middle of the show.
Don't worry. There's going to be something that'll piss me off. Enjoy this while you can, okay? A broken clock is right twice a day. So let's keep it at that. Is it not?
No, he's technically true.
He's right. I was more than like, why?
An analog clock. There it is. I love it. I want this phone. It's a tiny little thing, and it to me it's brilliant. There are plenty of instances where I only want to be alerted at a phone call.
They wanted $200,000 and they met their goal already. It's $222,000.
I'm not the only one, apparently.
35 days to go. They got 1,700 backers. $100 for this thing. Zach, do you want one of these things?
Why not?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's not something I would take it. I don't know if I would buy this, but I would buy it if it was $50.
Okay, so maybe
go on. I was going to say, here's my thought. Who actually really calls people nowadays?
It's an emergency thing.
I do like calling people, but we text. A lot of people don't, and I found that a lot of people, when I call them, they're surprised or they don't pick up.
Yeah, they're like, "What am I supposed to do?"
They see my name come up and think, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm going to talk to that jackass." No way. So, but no, I find that some people don't like to talk, and that's fine. Maybe it's for people who don't want to buy a phone. Can you put your own SIM card in there?
Yeah, it does take a SIM card.
Oh, it does.
But the thing is, this phone, when you buy it, has its own prepaid SIM. Oh. So it's a second line, effectively.
So
you can't buy it unlocked, essentially?
I'm not sure, because it's still a Kickstarter. But then again, couldn't you just get a crappy little flip phone and do the same thing?
Yeah, but then it's got like Snake on it, and that's going to be too much of a distraction.
Snake is too much of a distraction for you.
You'd be surprised. I get desperate, man. There's times where like, man, I need to play something.
You just program stuff to a calculator or something.
Yeah, I'll play Sudoku on the back of some stupid magazine. That's how desperate I'll get.
Wow, you're almost as bad as I used to be when it came to flying.
Yeah. Well, no. What do you mean?
So there's usually that 5-minute period where you can't have any devices on. Remember that's gone now?
Okay, sure.
I would bring like an analog book, an actual book, or like a notepad or something, just so I could not have any time where I have to just sit there.
Oh, that's psychotic. That's simply psychotic.
Oh, that's psychotic. But you would pay $100 for a stupid extra phone.
I said I paid $50.
Oh, sorry. They gave it to you. But you would use this thing.
Yeah, I would.
I wouldn't use this
thing. All right. Well, look, when I get mine.
Are either of you drug dealers?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
What year is it? Not anymore.
No. Okay.
Not yet.
Not anymore.
No, I can see this having some uses, but I don't. It's not. I don't think it's for me.
As a burner, though, you have to throw it out.
It is a burner phone. It's the sort of thing that you see in.
Would you just do a burner SIM?
You could do.
You can. You could
Wouldn't
do
that
that.
make more sense?
Definitely.
Or is there something connected? I'm sure somebody knows this. If you're a drug dealer.
Yeah, all the drug dealers. Send us what was that? What's that anonymous email? Lava email?
I don't know.
Lava bit.
Lava bit.
No more.
No more.
No more. No. Of course it's not.
Okay, security expert. Where
Hello.
can you send an anonymous email?
You can use a number of you can use Hushmail. You can use
Hushmail?
PGP, GPG.
Oh, I'm sorry I asked.
I lost you, didn't I? Yeah.
Let's move along to Scrabble. While things are really heating up, let's move along to Scrabble.
We could have gone there from FaceTime. Because
I guess we could have.
It got added as one of the words on Scrabble. So
Did it really?
There's like 6,100 words or something that were added to the Scrabble dictionary. I saw this because I've seen some of these words and I've tried them like on my phone as whatever apps, and they're like, no, this isn't a word.
So a Scrabble, obviously, if they were smart, has a companion app, right? Where you can look up if you challenge a word. And
it's called a dictionary.
No.
I don't know if they have a dictionary.
No, because apparently the Scrabble dictionary and the Webster's dictionary would likely have different entries in them. So what I want to know...
Beyonce, noun.
Proper noun.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is, like, is there a companion app to Scrabble where you can, type in the name, the word, whatever it is, and see if it's okay?
I actually want to read some of these things out in an English accent and see what they sound like. I'm English and I want to see what they sound like.
All right, so let's try it out.
Okay, let's try this.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have like backing music.
Well, I can add it later. There's
beautiful classical. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds appropriate. So these are some of the new Scrabble words that have been entered into the Scrabble dictionary.
I don't know how to say that one. Okay, you know what? That one there. See that? How do you say that? Cash.
Casual, so cash.
Oh,
cash.
It's cash.
Okay.
CAZH. That's stupid. How is that a word? Get out of here. Why is Scrabble just changing the rules? All right, go on.
How about noob?
NEWB. Noob is really spelled N00B.
Yeah.
That's really old, too. So I'm kind of
That's quite an
surprised that
old
made it.
Or, or NOOB.
How about shizzle?
Shizzle, like for shizzle?
Shizzle.
That's a good one just if you have Z's. You're stuck with them.
Yeah.
What kind of an asshole uses shizzle in Scrabble?
Now any asshole can.
That is ridiculous.
It's true.
Lols.
Stop it.
With the Z.
Scrabble, all your credibility just went out the window.
Completely.
It's ridiculous. Unbelievable. All right. I guess we have to take a break because I don't know what else to do here. More 404 right after a word from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back. A big thanks goes out to Igloo for sponsoring today's episode of the 404 Show. Igloo is an intranet you're actually going to like. It's a cloud platform that can help you do your best work, share files, blog updates, coordinate calendars, and manage your projects. It's easy to use, easy to configure, even for the most non-technical users. It's built using a responsive design, which means that everything you do at your desk, you can now do on the go, on your phone, and on your tablet. The responsive design is meant to look great on all of your devices, no matter what you're using. Whether you're a large enterprise stuck using SharePoint or a fast-growing business overwhelmed by apps, create an intranet that matches your brand's look and feel, simplifies how you work, and is accessible on your phone. Sign up now and try it for free at igloosoftware.com/CNET. Make sure you use /CNET. Don't forget, it's igloosoftware.com/CNET, and invite up to 10 of your favorite coworkers to try it out with you. Hey, welcome back to the 404. Today we're joined by Zack Whittaker from ZDNet and CNET.
Hello.
Security expert, cybersecurity expert extraordinaire.
That might be pushing it a
Are
little bit.
you stealing people's credit card numbers online? Yes or no?
No.
Have you ever?
No, I don't have a credit card.
Again.
I'm not kidding.
That's
I
a
don't.
reason to steal them then.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why you
no, it
bought.
is. It's a perfectly good reason to steal.
it's a
them.
really good reason.
Although I haven't.
How'd you get into all this? Because I would imagine you have to have some sort of nefarious background in security.
Not really.
Why are you so fascinated with it? Because it's seemingly mind-numbingly boring.
Yeah, no, it is. I find
He's
this-
like, that's what I love about
it is. It is. To a lot of people, it's very dull. But it's this new intersection between tech and law and politics, and it all intersects in the middle. And it's a great new space to explore. I mean, people are making laws about technology, about privacy and freedom on the internet, which is the same as freedom offline as well.
What's the biggest security issue facing the world, the internet today, that most people have turned a blind eye to?
Honestly, probably freedom.
No, I want you to lie to me.
Okay, I'll lie to you. No, in all seriousness, it's probably freedom of speech. I would say that's one of the biggest issues that faces our, not I suppose humankind.
How is it being compromised? How is it being threatened?
Because so many companies and lawmakers are pushing to enact laws that they interpret for their own means and their own for their own purposes. A lot of it comes down to intelligence agencies trying to gain access to our information, which is what they do. But in changing our behavior is not a way of being able to be free and being able to do what we want to do.
Did you see Citizen 4?
I did.
Did you like that?
It's a very good film.
It's very good. Did you see it? The Ed Snowden
No, I haven't seen it.
It was a good film. Yeah.
It's a good film because, and it obviously, it's basically Glenn Greenwald and this filmmaker. What's her name? What's her name?
Laura Poitras. She directed. She won an Academy Award for the
Right,
film.
it won an Oscar.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like it was almost too good to be true. What was happening? What was unraveling before her?
Yeah.
And she the whole time she's probably like, holy shit, I got something. Something's happening right now. And basically, from a hotel in China, Hong Kong, sorry.
Same thing, but
Ish, right?
almost, yeah.
They basically changed the world from a hotel room.
But you know that Laura Poitras lives in Berlin now because
she can't come back.
Well, she can come back. She's an American, from what I understand, but she kept being held at the U.S. Border,
right?
Coming into the country.
We just keep screwing with her.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, she is trying to do her job. She's trying to document, and she's a journalist. She's a filmmaker. She's a documentary maker, and she is being held up at the border, where even Americans have almost no rights whatsoever. The only right that you really have is the right to silence.
Right.
And that's it. They can't refuse you access to your own country.
We've turned her into this traitor figure.
I think some people
and we've
have
done that to Snowden as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think patriot or traitor. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, no matter what you see or what you think, his actions have spurred on a huge amount of discussion, and the laws are changing after the fact.
I think he's important not because he's basically fundamentally changed the way people look at the internet, which has happened. I mean, when you look at, BS and AS, meaning before Snowden and after Snowden, people change the way they search on Google.
Exactly.
And things have changed forever.
So if you have changed your actions, I'm not saying necessarily you, but if you have changed your actions, are you really free to do what you want to do?
Right, and that's the big issue.
That's the point, is that freedom of speech and freedom of expression has been, it's been considerably, it's having some serious difficulties at the moment. People are not being free to do what they want to do and what they want to say within the realm of freedom of expression.
Does it drive you crazy that people are paying more attention to, like, Bruce Jenner than this stuff? Because I know.
Well, now wait, because the Bruce Jenner thing is an important issue in its own right.
Yeah, but
no, it is. No, of course.
By the Bruce Jenner thing, I meant more when there was a magazine.
You're talking
article.
About the tabloid.
The tabloid, yeah. There was a magazine where somebody actually put paint on his face and airbrushed that particular story.
Sure.
No offense to anything else there, but I'm just saying, like, when celebrity is discussed much more than, like, your actual rights.
Yeah.
Does that ever bug you?
It does. Well, and it absolutely frustrates me.
It's cognitive Novocaine. I mean, it's people don't want to deal with the real issues of the world.
The thought of people having what they think of rights and then they don't, take advantage of them, I suppose, to a degree, it hurts. I mean, I don't like the idea of people focusing on celebrity culture over their own personal rights. I don't like that idea, but again, it's up to their own. The funny thing is that they have the freedom to do what they want to do. I come from a country that doesn't necessarily have freedom of speech. Believe it or not, it doesn't.
Right. It doesn't exist in the way.
It doesn't exist in the way that it constitutionally does here.
Right. Whether or not in reality.
There are certain things that you cannot, certain words that you cannot say in the UK.
And who's your biggest freedom fighter? Banksy.
Oh, I know. But so you can't say certain things in the UK. You can be arrested on the spot for saying certain words.
Now, does that happen a lot?
It can. Absolutely.
But does it happen a lot?
It does.
Yeah. Like what kind of thing? Now, obviously.
Certain words that are what we call racially aggravated. So certain words. So basically, we have fair speech, and it's not a bad system, but it's not perfect either.
Sure.
You can say certain things. I don't like this person. I don't like this. I don't like that. That's fine. But you can't say something that's going to offend someone because of something they can't help, or because of something that they have no control over.
Yeah, but don't we have a similar slander?
You do, but that's a civil case. This is criminal. You can't say criminal, you can't say certain words, and you know what? I'm okay with that. I don't think you should say certain words, obviously, because
it does compromise a true freedom of speech.
Of course, it does. So basically, no one has this quite right yet, and you'd think that after maybe almost 300 years of your country and God knows how many years of mine, you'd think that someone would have this nailed down by now.
No.
But it's just too difficult.
It's just a speck on the timeline there.
All I know is that you can't. I mean, having too little freedom of speech is not a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No one's going to argue with that, unless, maybe I do know some people who would argue with that. All right. That's interesting. So that's the interest.
Well, then again, my country is also the same country that you can go to war at the age of 16, but you can't buy Call of Duty until 2 years later.
Oh, come on! You're preaching to the choir.
There we go.
You can.
Oh, can you not do that here?
No, you can. You'll go to war at 18, but
it's 16 for us.
Yeah, you go to war at 18, and you'll pay taxes, but you can't buy alcohol.
You can't buy alcohol.
And you can't rent a car, which is just the biggest.
How old do you have to be to rent a car?
25.
25?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Quarter century. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And that's what I fight for. So that's important. All right. So it's good to know where your entry level is, like why you're so passionate about that sort of stuff. And I do think it's a major issue, and it makes me sick what people are more interested in. I mean, just don't ever go on Facebook, and you won't have to deal with that upchuck reflex that you get when you see what people are sharing and interested in.
The thing is, a lot of people say that I've got nothing to hide. That always cracks me up. Glenn Greenwald, who was at the forefront of the Snowden leaks, he said I think last year at a TED Talk, he said, if you've got nothing to hide, email me your passwords.
Right.
And no one has taken him up on that offer. And it makes you think, well, you know what? Maybe some people do have things to hide. Everyone has something to hide.
Well, the thing is that, and it's a technicality, but there's different levels of privacy. Sure, right?
Is there?
Of course, because
there's
what's in your mind.
Yeah.
And then there's like what's tangible.
Yes.
So that's a two system sort of like concept of privacy.
There is, but again, privacy to a degree, privacy, no matter how you say it, it should be absolute. I mean,
totally.
You have, in Europe, you have a right to a certain level of privacy, as long as it doesn't infringe on a law enforcement investigation or something similar. But it's enshrined in our rights.
So what do you say about this? So the big topic of conversation in privacy this week is there was like 140 companies that collectively wrote a letter to the White House saying we don't think you should offer backdoors into messaging services like iMessage and other, The
problem is with backdoors is that they are used and designed for law enforcement.
Sure.
And that's fine. You understand that. They need to crack down on crime. They need to, catch criminals. But if there's a hole that can be exploited, it can be exploited by anybody.
Sure.
And the concern is that they're essentially weakening their own systems, because if there is a flaw, it can be found, and it will always be found.
And they'll always find it before the government.
They will always find it before the government.
So now, what do you think is the right answer? I
don't think there is a right answer.
No.
I think I struggle to find the answer to this one. I think this will take legal scholars, academics, security experts countless years to work out exactly what works. But all I know is that you can't compromise someone's security for the sake of privacy and their rights.
Yeah. Isn't that supposed to be the whole idea behind open source items? So like instead of using an iMessage, instead of using a FaceTime, instead of using these protocols that are proprietary, you end up using an open source solution because everyone can see the source. And those things get fixed a lot faster.
Sure.
Just in general.
They do, but also the code itself, the code that actually pieces the software together, it can be inspected. So it's very difficult to put a secret backdoor in there for the NSA to access the data. Now the thing is with FaceTime is a good example, actually, because that's encrypted, and Apple doesn't have the keys to decrypt that, which is what makes the NSA and the federal government so angry, is that they can't access half of the things on my phone or anyone else's phone.
Because 30 years, it was just phones.
It was just phones. Yeah.
That's it. Oh, we have a phone tap. That's
we have a phone tap.
Which was probably as easy as hitting a button.
Yeah, so now they have to come to people. If they want my data, they have to come to me and say, what's your PIN code?
So now, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but don't you think, do you think there needs to be something in place for that kind of snooping to occur? Do you think that the way it's been since the modernization of the telephone infrastructure and how we've been able to tap phones and stuff like that?
It would be grossly naive to think for a second that we don't need intelligence agencies.
Right.
Because we do. We need a level of surveillance to keep us safe. But the problem is that it doesn't work.
Sure.
You have, phones and all these amounts of data, and a lot of it stored in the cloud and can be accessed. The problem is that you have government agencies taking the law and interpreting it secretly,
sure,
and using that secret interpretation to do a lot more than what the statute actually explicitly says.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with the Patriot Act, and a lot of people are getting exhausted with hearing about it. But
it's set to expire.
It's set to expire, and the government has until, the lawmakers have until June 1st, but actually, because of a recess, they have, it's now coming up to, 2 o'clock. They've now got about 8 hours left before they do anything about it.
Man, that seems like a good gig.
Being a lawmaker.
Oh, so much time off.
You have recess and you can filibuster whenever you want.
They have recess. When was the last time you had recess? Elementary school. Right?
This is true.
I'm sorry, elementary.
Elementary.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a great conversation, man. I like hearing we and I'm surprised that the lawyer had nothing to.
One, I'm not an expert in UK law. Second thing is everything he's saying is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Thank you. That's good to know.
I'm not going to argue about this.
Shut.
Well,
I forgot you went to law school. I completely.
He's a lawyer.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just pondering. I got to sit here and think. I'm not going to just completely jump. Down on it. Also, it's a bit heavy.
It is.
I apologize.
I feel like we handled that.
I've brought the tone down.
Yeah, there's no lowbrow today. It's just
sorry.
High tech. That's all it is today. All right, let's bring things down just a little bit. This is kind of ridiculous, but I read this a few times, and I read the Variety article, and there's something that this is actually the right move. Okay, we're talking about the week of March 25th, right?
That's the Batman Superman launch, right?
And what else?
My Big Fat Greek Wedding Part 2.
The Deuce, baby.
Is actually a movie, first of all.
Yeah,
and
as it should be.
It's been scheduled by Universal Pictures. They are the guys who've decided, or they're the people who've decided My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 will open against Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, and if you're really a sick individual, you get that double pack and you see them back to back. Right? You're not going to do that?
Well, my question is, what do you think is going to do better at the box office?
Wait, did you say March 25th or May 25th?
It says March. I thought this was coming out.
Is this coming out this week? Because it's the 20th.
No. This is not until next year.
Next year.
The current month is May.
Oh, I don't plan any further than the end of day most of the time.
Fair enough.
You asked me what I was going to do on the weekend. It's Memorial Day. I have no idea.
I didn't realize. I thought Batman Superman was this summer. It's not.
No, we've just been hearing about it to death.
Oh God.
And it's Zack Snyder's he's been tweeting like, here's a picture of Aquaman. Here's a picture of Wonder Woman. Here's a picture of my socks. And we're like, oh my God, look, it's Wonder Woman socks or whatever it is.
Yeah, but Universal Pictures.
Some people would pay a great deal of money for that.
Of course they would. Universal's got the right idea. This is exactly how you're supposed to match up your movie with a polar opposite. And that is what this is.
If and when this movie does better than Batman v
it's not going to do better.
Oh, no, it could.
So what's happening in the second Big Fat Greek Wedding? Are they renewing their vows? Do they get divorced? Is it a new wedding?
That's the best question I've heard.
I don't know how this works.
Well, see, that's the mystery right there, right? They're not tweeting about it. We have no idea.
We have no idea.
And isn't that much more intriguing versus...
When will we get the leaks of My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2?
At least with some headlines, you know what you're expecting. 4 weddings and a funeral. That's pretty straight up. That it don't even need. I've never seen the film. Do you know why? Because I know what's on the box.
Right. Exactly.
4 weddings and a funeral.
It's like any.
What's in between? Don't care.
It's like any Cameron Diaz movie ever. She's only in movies with titles of exactly what the film is about.
Okay, I've got the story. Do you want the story?
Except there's something about Mary.
No,
we don't know what the something is.
No, there's just something.
Oh, I suppose. No, you're right.
Right? Sex tape, bad teacher. I mean, come on. She's only in films that are exactly what they're about. It's true. Look
I think you're right.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the plot.
A goldfish has a greater attention span.
That I was
than
focused on. I was curious about which actress you're talking about was only in the...
Cameron Diaz.
Okay, because I'm thinking like Adam Sandler's the male equivalent of that.
Sure.
Waterboy, the cobbler. That's
right.
The
The cobbler?
Yeah, he's a shoemaker.
I didn't...
He's not actually like a pie.
You're making that
I'm not making that up. He's the cobbler.
All right, what's the plot to this film so we can move on?
The story follows the lovably loud Portocalos family whose return after a family secret is revealed and a bigger, fatter wedding brings the big, fat Greek family back together again.
Oh, what a cash grab.
That's what.
So what's the big secret? Is that the big question mark over it?
I'd imagine so. It's a secret.
Oh.
So whatever comes out.
Why would you not just name this sequel My Bigger, Fatter Greek Wedding?
It might be called that.
I don't want
a whole year.
2. I can't stand 2.
No.
I hate sequential
It's
sequels
lazy.
like that. It's
they
lazy.
haven't thought anything about this, have they? They're just going to slap a 2 in it, walk away.
It's freaking lazy.
Like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it's lazy.
Iron Man 2.
So you know what I've gotten into? We got a little geeky with security.
I don't know if I want to know this. Go on.
So I've I've had a lot of downtime last couple of weeks.
Yeah. How is Junior?
He's good. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
He sleeps a lot. So I'll have like huge
father, like
chunks.
son.
Exactly.
I see him at his desk, slumped over.
Those cat naps under the desk too.
I woke up and Zach had a mirror under my nose. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Just checking if you're alive, love." No worries.
That's a very good accent.
I had a lot of downtime. I have spans of time of 3 hours plus to do nothing, and I started fooling around with my Android phone. And now I'm like a hardcore rooting custom firmware ROM guy.
So you got an LG G3.
I'm that guy now. And people who think, they're listening.
I remember when it was cool, I remember when he was, I remember when it was
all that's out the window.
Yeah.
Oh, that's out the window. Dude, that's me now. I'm that guy.
What exactly are you getting into particularly? Like what ROMs are you in?
Cyanogen mod.
That's pretty good.
It's good. So Android. Do you know about this security?
Well, I know about it, of course. I mean,
sure.
Android has been.
But that was a security story a couple years ago when it became legal to do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, you strip all of the shit that comes on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
With you buy an LG phone, it comes with their stupid Android overlay sort of software, and then God forbid you have to deal with the Verizon junk that litters your phone. Mm-hmm. Ugh, it's disgusting. I hate it. Right? Yeah. So bad. Takes up all
back to normal just fine now.
I know.
Takes up all your memory.
I was waiting for it.
There you go.
All your RAM. It's a resource hog. So what I did was basically stripped all that out. I rooted my phone, meaning I gave I opened up root access to my phone.
Gave yourself full permission over the phone.
Right.
It's your phone. You should be able to do whatever you want with it.
And I did. And then I uploaded a custom ROM, which is a custom firmware, custom software of Android to my phone, and now I'm just living the dream with a phone that works, acts, performs, and does exactly what I want it to do. Thank you.
Yeah,
good.
I did it to my Galaxy S3 a while ago. Messing with ROMs, those are like really fun. You can get really lost.
It is a slippery slope.
That's the time where you actually care if your phone has an SD card slot. Yeah. You can just load bunches of ROMs, try out different stuff. Like my phone's jailbroken now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there's crap on this I can do that I couldn't do on Android.
So the Android benefits are very obvious. What are the Apple?
It's even one, you get another store if you want to get other
So you
apps.
just get, I understand you can load non-official Apple apps.
There are apps that are allowed to touch parts of the software and hardware that normally are not touchable.
Like what? What's the main reason for jailbreaking your phone?
Well, the main reason, let's see. One, you get to use more of the screen real estate. Like that's the biggest one. Because like normally, every time I see anybody's regular iPhone, it looks like a Fisher-Price kind of thing.
Oh, so you want your grid.
I want a grid. I want to be able to have widgets on the actual screen. But like for me, if you've never used Activator, man. Activator, there's
What's
a lot
that?
Basically, you can assign functions to basically anything. Like if I double tap the time, it should go to LastPass. Like just like that.
What's LastPass?
LastPass is my password manager. So I basically have everything there. I usually need a password for something.
So Activator is sort of a launcher. for...
It's not a launcher so much as it can assign functions to different things. If I triple press the home button, it'll go to Google.
Whoa.
Instead of it being just nothing.
So it looks like you got a little widget action too now, which is a very naughty word.
And
in
if
the
you
land
look at
of
the
Apple.
top there, my little bar there, I've got my little Android guy up instead of the.
And you can change those icons.
You can change.
Jailbroken?
So it says your carrier. It says Verizon or AT&T. You can put your name or whatever. I just put an Android up there. These little extra things that I enjoy. Because I miss my Android. I miss my Android a lot. But
you miss that customization.
The customization, that camera still on the iPhone is really, really good.
Oh, it's very good.
It's annoyingly good, and it's getting to the point where I know the S6 is supposed to be great, but one of the things about the S6 is they took out some of the cool shit, like taking out the battery and putting SD card slots into it. So I might as well be stuck with the iPhone again. If I'm going to be stuck, I'll be stuck.
Yeah, I guess so.
But the
I'm curious, like the good reasons though. I feel like you could still do more with Android, right?
Activator functions, they're not on Android, not the same way. Yeah. That's one of the things. So like, I think if I triple press, it's supposed to bring me to Google Play, which doesn't do all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work, and that's the thing.
It's got a dock too there, right?
Oh, my dock is I've got 8 things in there.
Well, are you impressed by stuff like this, Zach?
I am. I used to jailbreak my phone, and then I just didn't. I got this the iPhone 6.
Sure.
When it came out.
Yeah, that's a 6.
And I haven't really done anything with it since, frankly.
All right.
Oh, yeah, you can bring Android-like things. So if I hold down the Wi-Fi button in Control Center, it'll bring up the Wi-Fi settings like an Android.
And how's it with battery? Does it ruin your battery?
That's fine.
Same thing?
Almost exactly the same.
Okay. We'll see. I am thinking about switching carriers, so maybe when I move to T-Mobile.
You're moving to T-Mobile?
I just can't I can't deal with Verizon anymore. I pay too much money.
So here's the thing. I'm on T-Mobile. I find, and I travel internationally to the UK a lot. The benefit is that I spend maybe $80, I think, a month.
Free international.
I get free
That's amazing.
international data. It's not perfect, but it's 4G-ish.
It's better than buying a card when you get there.
Absolutely, it's far cheaper. I can call home. In the city, it's fantastic. It's great coverage. Out in the sticks, not so much.
Right.
And that's where it gets problematic. If you ever travel, But the thing is, you do have access to Wi-Fi calling.
Right.
So if you've got access to a Wi-Fi network, you can just pick up
that's great. I love that.
That's how T-Mobile essentially fixed the gap in its giant network. It's got a huge network, but it's nowhere near as big as AT&T's and Verizon. Right. So basically, by giving everyone the opportunity to have their own Wi-Fi router in their house, then they can make Wi-Fi calls where there isn't any traditional signal.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
It's not bad.
All right, we'll take one more break. When we come back, we'll hit the Reddit portion of the show. Just a few things to chat about there. More 404 right after this. We'll finish up the week with Zach. Stay tuned. These days, you can get anything you want on demand. Like our show, you're getting that on demand. So why are you still going to the post office and dealing with their limited hours, dealing with the people who work at the post office, dealing with the other people who are there, when you can get postage on demand whenever you want with Stamps.com? Anything you do at the post office, you can do right from your desk with Stamps.com. You can buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or any package using your own computer and printer. And unlike the post office, Stamps.com never closes. It's open 24/7. Get the postage whenever you need it, right from your desk. And now we're using Stamps.com. We're using it to send out T-shirts, to send out stickers. I do a little eBay stuff on the side. I've been using Stamps.com to print out postage for the things I'm selling on eBay. If you do something like that, you're going to love it. It's basically built for it. And check it out. Right now, you can use our promo code CNET for a special offer. There's a no-risk trial plus $110 worth of free stuff, including a digital scale and up to $55 of free postage. Do not wait. Go right now to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click on that microphone in the top of the homepage and do yourself a favor and type in CNET. That's CNET. Could not be easier. That's Stamps.com and enter CNET at the top. Okay, welcome back to the 404 show. We're going to finish things up with Zack Whittaker here. How you doing there, little guy? Nothing still?
I thought you were talking to me for a second. I was like, hello.
He can't hear
what is he? Why did he move off the couch? It seems like a less comfortable place to be.
I can ask him.
Yeah, let's ask him.
Excuse me.
Hey.
Why did you get off the chair? Oh,
It's too hard for him to do this.
He's got an iPad Air in his hands.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, and I put these earphones on wrong, so I'm gonna fix that.
Oh, all right. He is quite an adorable little boy.
Dad of the year.
All right, Dad of the year, right here.
Yeah, as I swear, 2 feet from him.
It's fine. He's got those earmuffs on.
He's got these. I'll post a picture of that. He's got these giant monsters headphones on, and basically now he's going through my email. Let me fix that.
Can you put an iPad in like kid mode and just completely?
You can.
No.
I think
Android
you can.
Android.
Isn't there a? I'm sure there's a way, isn't there? You can prevent kids.
You can lock them out and everything. But it's not like you can just do this one kids mode button where a lot
like
of
a guest mode.
Right.
There isn't now.
Why is that not a thing?
That's supposed to be iOS 9. You can have users. What an idea!
Well,
Users.
yeah, that'd be good.
All right, going to the Reddit section of the show, head over to reddit.com/r/the404. Click on the show thread, dump whatever you want in the corresponding show week thread, and we'll read some of this junk on the air. Okay. This was the most upvoted comment of the day, of the week. Wrong holiday weekend, but do you still do the annual trip to McDonald's? You guys should tell us what you would get. Should tell us what you would get off their menu, and then how eating the food would make you feel afterward. So this was the thing. What we used to do way back when we would go to McDonald's for breakfast.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because you do it once a year. We would do it. We haven't done it in 2 years. But July,
it was delicious when you were a kid.
Yeah, July. Oh no, we would do this on 404.
Oh no, I know that. But I'm saying, but that's why you still do it.
Right,
you have
right.
a memory of it being good.
Sure, that chemical seed that was planted.
The last time I went to a McDonald's maybe was about 2.5 years ago, and I went in London, in Covent Garden, just to use the bathroom. That's how anti-McDonald's I am.
Wow.
But then again, I'm vegetarian. I don't eat meat or fish, so there's nothing.
You don't eat fish either?
I don't eat fish.
What about...
what do you eat? Because you're eating something.
I eat vegetables. So
Yeah?
I was gonna say,
just
for
vegetables.
breakfast, you could have the pancakes.
And a lot of tofu.
You could have pancakes and the hash browns, because that's all vegetarian.
And bacon, of course.
Yeah, bacon. It's the...
Grows on trees.
Grows on piggy trees. Yeah.
Pig trees.
Pig trees, yeah.
So we haven't done this in a while. I haven't had McDonald's breakfast in probably... year and a half. But I would love to do it this year if you're down.
I'm definitely down for that.
So we usually do it you know what? I have a wedding this July 4th. We'll have to look at the dates and see what...
Who gets married on July 4th?
Some people.
Celebrating their independence by getting...
Being dependent.
By completely giving it up.
And creating dependence.
Right, exactly. So it's all kinds of suffixes and prefixes. So yeah, we'll try it out. Thank you, Flying Donkey. We'll
what would you get?
Oh man, I love the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit with a hash brown. Sign me up.
I might just get regular egg McMuffin.
No, you gotta
hash
get
brown.
The bacon's where it's at. There's something about the biscuit it's on.
The biscuit's gross.
No, I know, but the biscuit doesn't even feel like food. It's just,
agreed. But see, that's whereas you like that. I'm like, that's a little gross.
But it's like, hey, you're allowed to have this sugar cake. It's just crazy.
Maybe you pick for me and I'll pick for you.
All right.
And it'll be like, God damn it.
I would be okay with that. The Chatham says, Jeff has mentioned a couple times that he has a NAS at home. It'd be great to hear his experience and if he has any general recommendations.
A NAS?
A NAS, particularly regarding media streaming.
Network attached storage.
Right, I have a tiny little box. The company I use and recommend is Synology. They make really good stuff. They have proprietary software.
I've just never heard of it being called a NAS before.
Yeah, it's just an abbreviation.
Yeah. Now they say it's like cloud in your home.
But the thing is like storage is so freaking cheap now that you kind of don't really need a NAS anymore. I guess unless you want to serve yourself stuff like outside of your house, which is kind of cool. I wish I had a NAS with solid state. So you just don't have to worry about
rapid.
You don't have to worry about the reliability issue either, where hard disk drives can and will eventually break down.
You can get server grade hard disks for that, in that case. But the reason why I had a NAS at the house, even though everything was in the cloud already, was when either the internet was weird and my boy wanted to watch Netflix and didn't work, or if whatever else wasn't working on the network, like, okay, so this isn't working. This actual machine, or at least the NAS was attached to the network on an actual computer. That way he could watch something even when something went wrong.
Right.
Which you can't, it's hard to explain to like a 2-year-old. Oh, look, the internet's down right now.
Right. So what does that mean?
It's like, well, you can't watch what you want to watch right now. What do you mean by that?
Right.
Because they don't understand.
Yeah. No, I get it. So there you have it. Synology is the company I use. Media streaming, I don't really do that much of it, to be totally honest. Streaming remotely from my house. I just don't do it.
I use Pogo Plug for that. It's just way easier at this point.
Yeah.
It's an old man way to do it.
And,
like,
I mean,
people are just not safe. It's like, it might not be safe.
It's like if you've got internet somewhere, I don't know. You know what I do also? Like USB.
On the shelf, in a jar. Always keep that internet just in case you need it when it's run out.
Just harvest it.
Yeah.
You know, just store it up. So yeah, that's really like the long and short of it. I with USB 3.0, I've actually started bringing files with me because the transfer rate is so fast.
That was right, because you have to wait.
Yeah.
You put in like a thumb drive, you're like, I got 15 minutes.
I got 15 minutes for this movie to go. But now USB, you can transfer like 40 gigs in like 5 minutes. It's insane how fast USB 3.0 is. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then this was interesting, and I wanted to put this out to you guys if you had any insight on this. Hydra Master says, I was in a Best Buy the other day and saw a phone case that supposedly extends the range of a phone's antenna. We've seen snake oil products like this in the past, and none of them have worked. I wonder if you guys have tested it or used anything like that. I've never heard of that.
No, I think years ago you used to get cases or little add-ons, like small metallic sort of strips that used to go on the back of your phone.
Your antenna.
It used to boost your antenna. Nowadays, you don't really need it.
Yeah,
it's
right?
It's not. It's more of a case of the Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi.
The data,
the data network is strong enough, and it's everywhere, especially in major metropolitan cities like New York.
You can get a repeater, which is expensive, that you got to plug in, and it will boost the cell signal in your area.
Yeah, you can get them in your house as well.
Right.
It's femtocell technology.
Right.
You plug it into your Wi-Fi network, and it turns into your own cell service.
Right. I would not buy a case that promises to boost your signal.
I don't think we've tested them here, though. That'd be interesting to try out.
No, you're right. That does kind of fall into the snake oil category. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks so much to Zack Whittaker for joining us today. Where can the good people who listen to our show find you?
On ZDNet.com and on Twitter.
And what's your Twitter handle?
At Zack Whittaker, full name.
Now, you spell it with K's.
ZACKWHITTAKER.
There you go. Mr. Whittaker, thank you so much. You'll come back and lay some security knowledge on us again in the future.
Thank you for having me.
All right. That's going to do it for us. 866-404-CNET is the number to call. We had a few voicemails, but not enough time to play them today. So I apologize to those people. But hopefully we'll get to do that next week. We'll have Jill Schlesinger on the show. She will be talking finance and information about that. And that's going to do it for us. Have a fantastic holiday weekend. Until next time, I'm Jeff Bakalar.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Zack Whittaker.
This has been the 404 Show, high tech, low brow. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon. A big thanks goes out to Igloo for sponsoring today's episode of the 404 Show. Igloo is an intranet you'll actually like. It gives you the flexibility to get your work done how you want it, where you want it, and on whatever device you want. It's built with easy-to-use apps like file sharing, calendars, social news feeds, and task management. Igloo is the cloud platform that can help you do your best work. Get your free trial today. Do yourself a favor, head over to igloosoftware.com/CNET and invite up to 10 of your favorite coworkers.